So Mikel Merino, the hero, Stephen, on Saturday lunchtime. How sustainable is that?
Probably not for long. You'd like to think that he could do a job every now and again. Obviously, he didn't start in the game, so how does he start if he's going to play in that position? How do they bring him into the game? What would his role be? Would it be playing up against a back four or high up against centre-backs, or would he play as almost a false nine and wander into that position from midfield positions? But listen, it worked at the weekend. Will it work for the long foreseeable future? I'm not so sure it will, but credit to Mikel Arteta for giving it a go, and credit to Merino for pulling it off.
Yeah.
It was interesting to see that Gary said Mikel Arteta enjoys trying to work out these solutions. I suspect he doesn't, does he? I'm sure he'd rather have a striker there.
Of course he would, yeah. He'd rather have the options, because when you look at the players, Sterling, Trossard, Nwaneri, you wondered how they were going to line up, and it was obviously Trossard in that false nine, but they're all sort of small, tricky players that obviously got the ability, but they just couldn't break Leicester City down. And you thought, right, they need to do something, and then to obviously bring Merino on. And to be fair to him, his movement was brilliant. It was the movement of a striker, like you say. Whether that's something he's going to use going forward, I'm sure it's going to be another option for him, because you know you've got the players that can get the deliveries into the box. If his movement is good and that presence up there, it's different. But of course, Mikel Arteta, I'm sure, would have preferred to have had the options, because they've been so unfortunate with injuries in that attacking lineup. Ideally, they would have brought somebody in the transfer window, but couldn't obviously find the right one that they wanted.
Just on what Sue said there about movement then, how difficult is it to adapt to be playing as a striker? And is the biggest difference, quite obviously, the fact that you're just not as good a finisher as a natural centre-forward?
Tried all my career, Rob. look, I ended up at
left back was bad enough, let me tell you.
Exactly. So, listen, everyone wants to score goals as a kid, and everyone wants to be a striker because it's the best position in the team. Because when you score the goals, you get the adulation, you get the praise, you get paid the most money. Everything that comes of being a great striker comes great things. So we all want to be in that position, but we don't have the movement. We don't have that natural instinct to find the right places at the right time. It can't be coached. You can coach to an element, but there's got to be a natural side of it as well. Now, the movement might have been a little bit of luck. It might have been something that he's actually got naturally. We don't know yet, but also do it against... I watched Leicester the other week against Everton. The two centre-backs were awful. I know Vestergaard didn't play in the game at the weekend, but I look at them and I think they're not the best defensively, so you are going to get space in the box. They are going to switch off. Now you've got to do it against the top teams. Can you do it when you're under pressure as well? Because there wasn't much there was an element of pressure because you want them to come off the bench and score, but yeah, you've got to do it against the big teams.
Ethan Nwaneri, Sue, became the youngest player in a Premier League game to complete 5 dribbles in a match. He beats a record set by Bukayo Saka. Can they both play in the same team when Saka's back?
Could you find a position for him? Because he's certainly stepped up to the plate. Saka is outstanding, and if you're going to put the two there, you would always play Saka. But you think, could he play in a number 10? Then you've got Ødegaard in there. Could he play on the other side? So I think he's a young player, 17 years old. So he can come in, he can come out. I think Mikel Arteta at the moment, he's forced to start him and play him. And the fact that he's been able to step up and show that maturity is credit to him. We know that he can be a match winner, whether that's a brilliant goal, whether that's a great assist. So, yeah, I think when Saka comes back, it's obviously then that competition for places and the ability and, you know, enable Arteta to be able to rotate when he needs to.
Is there ever the sense that he could play as that false nine Nwaneri and you would have Saka on one side, possibly Martinelli or Trossard or Sterling on the other? They could do it that way?
Again, that could be another option. You can see he's a very intelligent footballer. You can see that his movement is excellent. So whether that is, it's something that Mikel Arteta, we know, like to play with that false nine, that player dropping in. So it could be something that they're working on. But I think, you know, all he can do is when he gets the opportunity, take it, and he's certainly taken it.
He's that good. He will find a way to get him into that team. He has to find a way to get him into that team. He is a phenomenal talent.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of them players, when you watch him, you think, I cannot wait to see where you end up in 4 or 5 years. I mean, Arsenal fans will hate me for saying it, but everyone will be after him in a short space of time, and it'll be the likes of Barcelona, Real Madrid, who'll be knocking on the door saying, we can't miss out on this kid, but Arsenal will be saying, well, he's ours, we're not letting him go. But he is a special talent. I just find it incredible that he come up with a stat of a question that he's completed 5 dribbles of a 17-year-old. It's incredible what people find now, isn't it, to bring up a stat.
Some people have too much time on their hands,
Exactly.
Stephen, on a Sunday night. Who do you think Thomas Tuchel's first England left-back will be?
Oh, good question. I think he'll definitely be looking at Miles Lewis-Skelly. I think he has to.
Yeah.
I think when you look at the ability that he's got, whether it's driving into that midfield area, 1v1 defending, I think as well, I think he'll want to look at him closely to see just how good he is. Also, can he react, excuse me, to being in and around the squad and understanding the levels that you need to go to play for England. I think it will be him. I think it'll be Miles Lewis-Skelly, and I hope it is.
I'm just agreeing.
That was one of the longest shrugs I've ever seen in my life there.
I thought you were going to bring me another question.
No, I was just saying if you'd like to pick up on what Stephen was saying, but your shrug just answered it for me.
Yeah, well, I think you can't, at the moment, the way that he's performing, I think he's been outstanding. You look at positives for this Arsenal side, yes, they've got so many injuries and it's been really frustrating for, I think, the Arsenal fans to see that. But certainly 2 bright sparks has to be the form of those 2 young players and the quality that they've shown to be able to step into a team with lots of pressure. You know, a team that are fighting for the title in the Champions League and perform at that level is credit to them.
Stephen, they're 7 points behind Liverpool with 13 games to play. What do you think that, I mean, it's obviously not in their hands, but what do you think the minimum number of games that they would have to win if they want to take this title would be? Do you think they're going to have to be somewhere near 11, 12, all of them?
Near enough all of them, I think. Yeah, just because of the quality of Liverpool. But then if you look at Liverpool's next 3 games and you go, they've got Villa, City, Newcastle. If they drop points in all of them games, then suddenly you've got a different sort of proposition on your hands for Arsenal. I think the biggest concern is, and I know they dealt with it at the weekend, but not having forward players and fit forward players in your team is going to affect you at some point. And it's just those moments when you go up against organised defences, tough defences, where they are very sort of resolute in what they're trying to do, and then you need that moment of brilliance or that instinctive moment. So but they're going to have to continue this incredible run that they're on.
And that's the point, though, isn't it, Sue, that we talk about Liverpool's next few fixtures, but Arsenal, West Ham at home, Forest away, Manchester United away, Chelsea at home, Fulham at home. Go on, I'll be charitable. Everton away after that. You know, that's not easy, is it? You know, we're asking questions about what Liverpool might do this week, but you're asking Arsenal to be almost perfect over 13 games.
And I think that's the thing, that they know that they need to be near perfect because of what Liverpool are doing, because of that gap that they've got to try and make up. And I keep mentioning it, but the injuries to the forward players, the fact that they've got, you know, the Sterling, Trossard, Nwaneri, when you looked at them in that first half against Leicester, it wasn't very fluid, which is probably going to be the case. They've not played a lot of minutes together. So yes, Arteta found that solution of bringing Marino in. He obviously came and scored the 2 goals, but you just think he's going to have to keep trying to find that. We know that they're good at scoring goals from different ways, whether that's set pieces, corners, free kicks, whether that's Ødegaard stepping up from the midfield area. So we know that they can find goals from different ways, but we also do know that they've got to be near perfect, and there's some tough games coming up.
Let's not forget the run they're on. They're doing an incredible job, considering all the injuries. That he keeps on finding solutions. They keep on finding ways to win games. So they're not going away. Even Arne Slot alluded to at the weekend, he was like, we must be doing something right, because Arsenal are unbeaten now in 15 games. We must be doing something right ourselves. So it's going to be a fascinating title race. There's going to be something that's going to happen along the way where we think, oh, like whether it's a slip-up from Arsenal or a slip-up from Liverpool, and it might just open the gap up for Liverpool or just close the gap.
Involved in the summer plan, preparing the signings, preparing the positions they want to cover and they have to cover in the summer. So Enzo Maresca is 100% involved, and also Chelsea are already planning for the summer window. It's going to be an important one. For the Blues, it's also going to be important, guys, to clarify what happens at Arsenal in terms of contracts, because we said about the injury of Kai Havertz, but they have some proper gems at Arsenal. And so first of all, congratulations to Arsenal, because producing and trusting young talents like Lewis Kelly and like Ethan Nwaneri is not easy at all. Premier League football, Champions League football, always be competitive, always be at the best level possible. A lot of pressure, a lot of criticism sometimes in modern football, but Arsenal are trusting their youngsters because of the injuries, of course, but not only. Even when players were available, Arteta was always giving a chance to these players. And now what we can say is that Arsenal is making progress on new contracts for Lewis Kelly and for Nwaneri. Nwaneri is doing great. Nwaneri is doing fantastic. This boy is incredible. Also Lewis Kelly. I can guarantee to you that Thomas Tuchel is following these two players for the future of England, especially Lewis Kelly. Maybe in March could be already involved in the squad for England national team. It's not guaranteed yet, but it's just an idea they are discussing internally, Thomas Tuchel and his coaching staff. What's important to say on Nwaneri is that the progress on new contract for him and for Lewis Kelly is very good in this moment. So the expectation is to get everything ready very soon, and so the idea is to advance, but already the recent contacts have been very positive, and so Arsenal are preparing the future with Nwaneri and with Lewis Kelly. Then guys, it's important to say something on another top talent, a player I love personally, Nico Pass. I was following this boy since he was in the youth team of Real Madrid. I was there in Madrid 2 years ago. I had the chance to meet him. He's a super serious boy, top talent, 6 goals, 4 assists in Serie A on his first season as a regular starter, 20 years old, Nico Pass. He will be called up by Argentina again in March. It's a decision already made by Lionel Scaloni, so if there will be no injuries, Nico Pass will be there. But it's also important to say on Nico Pass that Real Madrid keep monitoring every single game of Nico. They really like him internally at Real Madrid. They believe that solution sends the player to Como and then have a buyback clause was the best solution possible.